The first time I tried the vitamin B1 therapy, it did not go so well. I was not prepared and I was not ready and I failed miserably. Hi, it's David from Life with Parkinson's. If you're new here, welcome. We hope you'll consider subscribing. Everyone else, thank you for your continued love and support. This is the first video documenting my second round of vitamin B1 therapy, so stay tuned for monthly updates and we will see where this will take us. We have a lot to talk about this episode, so let's get right to it. I have been doing everything I can to stay away from a deep brain stimulation, and I'm hoping the thiamine will solve what I feel is a last-ditch effort. It's my own personal pros and cons list, and don't apply it to yourself, but I'm just going to tell you quickly why. One of the biggest reasons is my age. I'm turning 52 this year, and I've heard that a really good deep brain stimulation, I've done research, I found that a really good deep brain stimulation will last up to 10 years. But then there's also this category of a lot of people only really getting 5 to 7 years out of it, with year 6 being the one where a lot of their symptoms return, or they suffer some long adverse effects, like they have trouble walking or trouble talking. I've run into a lot of that. But I'm not trying to talk anybody out of it. I would never stop anyone from getting deep brain stimulation. I would never advise anyone against it. I feel it's a really personal decision, as we all suffer from Parkinson's disease in our own way. And I know how bad it can get. I know how bad the symptoms can get. I've seen it. I've had bad days. I know what they're like. They're no fun at all. So don't think I'm trying to put my pros and cons list on you. I just want to share it as a person with Parkinson's and just talk about the thiamine, just with a bit of a reference point of what I'm hoping for. Another one of the big problems is that I'm afraid of needles, and I don't know if I can handle being awake for around 4 hours while they operate on my head. I'm just not sure if I can endure 4 hours of no drugs with that, no sedation or anything. I know in the States you can get the deep brain stimulation done in the GPI point, which is a lot bigger than the STN point. But in Canada, all I've heard is that we use the STN, so I would have to be awake for the entire time, and I would not want to be. Another reason is I don't want to cut myself off from future treatments. When you get focused ultrasound and they burn part of your brain to stop your tremors, I believe it cuts you off from certain things. And as well with the deep brain stimulation, there's a lot of things you can't use. I can feel the questions coming through. Dave, please tell us about the thiamine. What is it? Well, mega dose thiamine therapy is basically when you flood your system with vitamin B1. You are way over the maximum daily recommended dose, and it's not harmful. It's not going to hurt anybody. With the vitamin B1, with the mega dose thiamine therapy, it's all water soluble, so anything that you don't use, you just pee out. But the idea here is that you megadose your system with it, so the thiamine gets forced into your cells. And this is the problem with Parkinson's, is when we experience a lot of the chronic fatigue and a lot of the ATP, the adenosine triphosphate, our delivery system gets damaged, we run into energy problems, which I believe, in my opinion, would lead to a lot of the fatigue that we experience with Parkinson's. I believe a lot of it has to do with our damaged mitochondria, and that is the one thing that encircles all of us with Parkinson's. There aren't a lot of similarities that everyone experiences, but the big ones are mitochondrial damage and ATP problems, adenosine triphosphate. So the thiamine floods our cells, and because there's a lot of it, it can force its way in. It gets forced in because there's so much of it around. And getting over that deficiency level, finding where that deficiency level is and getting above it is part of the real trick here. And once you've found that spot and the thiamine is reaching those cells it needs to reach, you're going to feel a whole lot more energized, which is one of the things I've been experiencing along the way here, is just a higher level of energy. And it's not just for Parkinson's that the thiamine can work for. It can work for a lot of other conditions. Now, I've got some information in the description below. One is from the pioneer in this field, Dr. Antonio Constantini. There's a website up about him, that's below. There's another guy, Elliot Overton. He's got some good YouTube videos and a good website as well. He's in the description below. And then Daphne Bryan, who wrote a book. She has a PhD as well. She's in the description below as well. Check her out. Her book is apparently really good. I haven't read it, but I've seen her interview, and she did a really good job on that also. There's also a couple PDFs that I've uploaded to Google Drive. The links are in the description below. You can download those as well. They have a lot of interesting information. I've been very fortunate the last year to be working with an independent Parkinson's researcher who asked to remain anonymous, who's been helping me get ready to go on the thiamine. And there was a couple big things that we had to work on. One was getting me off of gluten. I didn't realize how much of a problem it was for me until I got off of it, but it was a problem. Getting rid of chemicals in my body like fluoride, getting me on a plant-based diet, because the thiamine needs to be treated like L-DOPA. So it needs to be taken away from the protein. So I can't overlap the protein with the L-DOPA. I can't overlap the protein with the thiamine. You can see the problem there. And I also can't overlap the thiamine with the L-DOPA, or the other way around. I can't overlap the L-DOPA with the thiamine. So it becomes quite the system of trying to figure out where everything is going to fit in during the day. Do I have time to eat? I don't know. My food windows are very quick, so when there's people around, it's like, I gotta eat. It's now or never. I gotta do it because that's my window. So there's a lot of balancing. Like, I couldn't be on the carnivore diet and survive this because it just wouldn't work out together. And if I wasn't on a plant-based diet, having quick digestion times, my stomach and my small intestine wouldn't be empty for the next round of medication or the next round of thiamine. Now, to make this all happen, what I've done is I've been journaling what I'm doing. So I've got a journal. I've got a scale because I'm buying thiamine in the powdered form. If I was to take capsules, I would probably buy out every local pharmacy within the first month because there just aren't enough capsules around when your target minimum dose is around 3 grams a day. So that would be 30 100 milligram pills out of a container of 90. So one pill bottle would last like 3 days. But I found a good supplier who delivers powdered form, 340 grams, which will last me 3 to 4 months at like around $160. So it's a good deal. And then, of course, there's the extra recommended supplements like the magnesium and the B complex. So I've been taking all of that as well. And one thing I didn't know about in the beginning was the paradoxical reaction. And I didn't know how bad it could be. For me, it lasted 4 days and it was fairly intense. By day 4, I was starting to get worried. But then on day 5, I recovered. So the paradoxical effect is basically you get worse before you get better. And that's one of the ways that you figure out it's working. It's like getting the flu shot. When you get the flu shot, like you don't feel so good like 12 to 14 days later because the shot actually gives you the flu, not the real flu, but and then you feel better a few days later. So it's the same thing. Your body just needs to adjust to the thiamine. If you jumped in and took your target dose on the first day, which I did, to see what happened, it's not a lot of fun. I don't recommend it. I did not feel very good. So I rolled it back, and then I've been building up slowly. I should be at like my target 3 grams sometime mid-September, based on the way I'm increasing it right now. If you take too much of it at once, it doesn't feel so good, but it's not harming you. Okay, so what have my results been on the first month? So I'm filming this 28 days after I started. And the number one thing I would say would be energy. I can stay up late at night now. I can stay up to like 9:30 at night, which I haven't done for a long time. My off times are substantially reduced now during the day. I'm experiencing like maybe like 1 hour of off time in a day, which makes me feel a lot safer. That is incredible. Car rides are becoming tolerable for me again. So there's a lot of things that are improving. But I would say the number one overall thing is energy. I can think better. My brain just seems to work better. I feel like myself again. My wife Haley says my face has changed. I look more normal. So yeah, energy. And that's what the thiamine does, right? It helps your mitochondria and your ATP delivery system. Thank you for continuing to take this journey together. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with your family and friends. Please leave a question or a comment below. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day. Goodbye.